everyone. It was a pretty mild week this week. I was super wiped out, zero energy pretty much all week, so not a ton to go over. I'll get right into it though. First off, the biggest thing I did was just research for some dumb little DIY ideas. First off, I ordered some solar screening, which is basically a window screen material that blocks more sunlight than something like the bug netting you might have on your windows. So, the important thing is that by blocking sunlight, that blocks both heat and UV radiation that could damage stuff inside. I care more about the heat. So, I'm excited to see how that works out. It's currently still on the way and should be arriving tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can find a good way to use it, and if not, I'm down $60 for it. Oops. But I do think that passive cooling methods are very interesting to me, because throwing more electricity at a problem just seems a bit weird to me. It's like that should be both like the final step and like a stopgap step, but with weird stuff like how where I live the electrical wiring is kind of messed up, it's not really an option for me. So that's why I'm just living with fans, and I'm gonna be living with this solar screening if it works out well. So, a stupid thing that happened this week is, I think on Wednesday, I had insomnia and just could not fall asleep for hours after getting in bed. So around 5 a.m., I just got up and started doing stuff that was on my mind. I measured some furniture and closet space to see if I could move this one little bookcase I have, this dinky little thing, into the closet. Because it takes up like an awkward amount of space in the rest of the room, because I have a very small bedroom. And the thing is, I measured a narrow part of the bookcase, and I measured a wide part of the closet. So my measurements were off in two directions, when I should have been measuring the baseboard and like the base of the bookcase. So it did not fit in like I planned, but I shoved it in there anyways because I didn't want it out here anymore. So doing work while insomnia felt good, and it helped with my insomnia that night. After I was just up for another half hour, I felt great and slept well. But other than that, the work I did while going through that insomnia ended up not being very productive in the end, which was very tragic. But we get what we get, I guess. So I did that, and I think that insomnia night is why I don't really have strong memories of the second half of this week so much. It's like I was mostly just vegging out. But I'm doing a little bit better now. I slept a bit too much today, which I hope makes up for it. But next up, I do want to talk about the cooking I did this week, because it was another scuffed, like very small amount of work I did. So I just made that Chef John a recipe of pan-fried chicken with onion pan gravy again, and it's still so fucking good. I'm sorry for cussing like that. I don't think I've said fuck on these so far, but like, it is so scrumptious for so little effort. All you do is prep a little bit of veggie and rice on the side, and it becomes like a 9 out of 10 meal for like 3 out of 10 effort. It's so good. I was really happy with that. I also bought spinach while I was shopping last week because I was in the mood for it. So I was using that pretty much on everything to use it up. So I had 2 days this week where I had egg scrambles with spinach and onion in it. And those were good. And I also used the spinach as my green on chicken sandwiches I made with breaded chicken I just prepped in the air fryer. So I guess that all worked out. Next up, moving on from the cooking, I guess it's more like meta cooking talk real quick, actually. I want to keep making new things, but I am at the point where like there are enough recipes I just want to have again, because they were really good when I made them. That like I think I am going to do some repeats, because I'm going to be honest, the carrot soup I made last week was not for me. It was too much. I felt like grossed out trying to eat it all. So there's still a lot of it that went to waste, and I feel bad about that, but could not get myself to stomach it for whatever reason. Which is weird, because I normally like carrots a lot. But it leaves me really curious what I could have done different. Next up, I do plan on maybe pivoting to making breads or something like that instead of doing this whole like entree cooking. So if I could just find like one day off during the week and like prepare a dough and then bake it on Saturdays, I feel like that'd be another good use of my time. So maybe I'll try for something like that going forward, with like also just cooking on Saturdays, but just cooking stuff I've already cooked before. So I'll have to figure that out pretty much as I go. Because I have to admit, I'm really bad at baking bread for whatever reason. I feel like I've never had a bake that comes out all the way right. I'm not sure if it's a recipe issue, an oven issue, or just a me messing up somewhere issue. So I'm excited to keep trying things out there. What else? I'll be honest, I barely gamed at all this week. I think the big thing was just that I did play EDF with Bunny, and I played RuneScape while I was watching movies this week. EDF, still a very cool game. I still kind of wish I was playing it 4-player, but also very happy to be getting near the end of this the storyline of EDF 4.1. I feel like I'll be like very happy once I get done this story, because I'm like, I want to know the whole path of where it goes, I guess. But other than that, in RuneScape, I've just been leveling, mining, and preparing materials for crafting, basically. I've been mining sand, primarily, which is used to make glass, which is a common item for, like, the dominant Iron Man crafting method of glass blowing. So, once I get this done, I'll be able to get 99 crafting banked, and I'll also be at 97 mining by the time I'm actually uploading this. So, very excited about that. Feeling good about RuneScape right now still. Probably gonna be even more feeling good about it when I have actual energy next week, as long as I sleep better than this week. But I mentioned movies, and I do have to go over them. We watched Dick Tracy and Goosebumps 2 with the Wheel group, and then Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires with the Tuesday group. Starting just in that order, Dick Tracy was sick. All of the mobsters had, I don't know if it's prosthetic makeup or what, but they all had like the funny, iconic, strong facial features like Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town. And I just love when like you give comic book characters like crazy proportions to make them like really stand out. I think it's really charming. And it's like the colors were so bright, the sets were really cool, and it has such a different feeling than comic book movies as they are today. It really makes me wish like culture was just different, because they're so saturated in what they are now. I don't want them to be this like weird, like whatever they are now. They just don't hit for me. I want Dick Tracy too. I don't know if there is one, but I want more stuff like Dick Tracy, basically. And Goosebumps 2 is like perfectly fine. It was a little bit corny sometimes. It does this thing where they have like an inventor kid who's making a weird ass project. And then also that being like a weirdly small part of things after it's brought up. But I was happy to see Jack Black was only in there for like 2 minutes of screen time total, because screw that guy. I don't respect him ever since he kind of threw KG under the bus after the Trump thing. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm just obsessed with the alien because it's a classic design. We stand an alien. But this name might have stood out to you when I said it earlier. Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires was insane, and I have like 100 different thoughts about it. First off, I want to see more Peter Cushing movies. Second off, Van Helsing's son's actor, Peter Cushing's character's son, being like a sitcom sweetheart, there we go, type of actor, getting thrown into this movie where they're like under assault by these action vampires is so sick. The action and drama was insane. I was just like constantly going through it. and just like my was dropping nonstop. I loved one scene in particular where villagers come out and start mobbing vampires to death. It's so cool. It's like, I feel like I need to see more wuxia movies because I'm like, it's so crazy to me, sort of the way sometimes the villains feel like huge threats and then sometimes they're also just getting mobbed to death by villagers. I don't know how to like reconcile that in my head, but I love it. But I think right now I like them a lot more than I did when I was a kid. And I don't know if it's because action movies are just so different now. Where like I see a lot of movies where I'm actively like bored during the action scenes. Just because of like bad editing, bad scenes, whatever else. And it feels like the gap between awful and great feels really apparent to me. Whereas like when I was a kid, it was like I feel like movies, I don't know, put a little bit of effort into the action scenes, even if they weren't always great. So it's like, I'm also just like 20 years older than like when I was a kid, so that probably also affects my changing opinion. But other than that, I can't really remember much of what I did this week, if I'm being honest. It was either just passively playing RuneScape or probably just scrolling social media, if I'm being honest. So it was a bit of a slow one because of my energy cratering because of that sleep day, but I'm hoping I rest better this week. I managed to get everything I want done. And maybe I'll even get to try looking into like baking a little bit because it's been on my mind for a little bit. But I also want to follow up on that sunscreen project. Sorry, the solar screen project. Sunscreen is something else. I should look more into sunscreens for my main trip. But if it all goes well, I know I'm going to be really happy about it. So I hope I have a good week, and I hope you all have a good week too. So take care, gamers.